We look at investment real estate through a different lens, through the lens of failure. This is not HGTV. Things don't always magically work out. Failure is gut-wrenching, heartbreaking, but most importantly, an amazing teacher. We have failed more than most have tried, but because of our failure, we have succeeded. These are the stories that have turned average real estate investors into the battle-tested superstars that they are today. Welcome to The Flipping Reality. Hey everybody, Brian and Nico here with this week's episode of The Flipping Reality.
We're talking about bad neighbors.
And if you have flipped houses in the past, there's a good chance that you've come across dealing with neighbors. And some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them are easy, and wonderful people, and others are like the people we're going to talk about today.
Like Elsa?
Oh my gosh. This lady, she is the peak. I don't know. Like, we have four people, that we're going to talk about today. And we got to figure out which one is worse. The first one and the last one are definitely, like, they're close. They're close. So let's talk about the first one. First one, what city was that house in?
Grosse Pointe. Oh my gosh.
What's Grosse Pointe like?
What do you mean?
Like, nice, middle, like, what type of city is it?
It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's a higher end city, I would say.
Higher end city. And this is where we came across Elsa. Elsa is not her name. Her actual name is the Ice Queen. So she is the most frozen person imaginable. She's the type of person that you have to throw into a freezer to warm her up. That's how horrible of a person she is. This lady, like...
She made our life hell.
How did she make her life hell?
In the entire project, but especially at the end. She decided to call the cops, I believe, 14 different times throughout the project.
She called the cops on us 14 times.
14 times.
And so...
For nothing.
And so she called the cops on us because we were demoing the house that we're working on. We were right next door to her. And the guys were taking stuff out that was garbage and tossing it out the second-story window down onto our driveway to get rid of the trash. And she called the cops on that.
Mm-hmm. She called the cops on me once. Mind you, this was like my very first... Was it my first project?
Yeah.
It was the first house I ever saw. So it was very early, so I was new, and she called the cops on me one day for parking too close to her lawn on our driveway.
Yeah, Nicole's tire was like 3 inches off of our cement on the driveway onto the grass. And her perception is that she owned all of the grass. But the reality was we owned a foot to the left. So she called the cops on us for parking on our driveway with Nicole having 3 inches off. She was a psycho. She called the cops on Rob's guys. We pulled in and they had a trailer and we just needed to unload some trailer stuff. So it was like 8 in the morning. There was no movement in the house whatsoever. Like, it was completely dark in her house. So Rob's guys pull up a truck and trailer and it blocks her driveway. Like for a minute. We had to grab some material out of there.
I remember that now. Oh my gosh.
Yep. So pull up for a minute. It blocks her driveway. We're unloading stuff. We're unloading it. It took literally 4 minutes to unload everything. As we're starting to pull away, the cops are pulling up. They said that we have trapped her inside of her house. She is trapped now. So finally, at some point, we get her phone number, and I give her a call. And oh my God, this lady, the very first thing, just so you know, I am a lawyer, okay? And I know all the people on the city council. Okay.
What are we doing so wrong?
Congrats. I mean, you're well connected. I get it. Here's the problem. I don't care. I don't care that you're a lawyer. I don't care that you're well connected on city council. I care that you keep calling the cops on everybody. Like, stop doing that. And she was a psycho. What did she do, Nico, that conversation that I had with her was basically pointless. Like,
Yeah.
it's always the right thing to do to talk to the neighbor, have the conversation, but she is a Karen to the highest level.
Mm-hmm.
What did she do when we went and listed our house to the people walking through?
We got numerous feedback from other agents talking about how she would be in the windows of her house going like this, like thumbs down, trying to tell like the potential buyers not to buy our house.
1,000%.
I think it was like 2 or 3 different people told us that. She was also peeking out the window constantly at our contractors, making faces at them throughout the project. Just made our life hell for no reason at all. Why did we call her the ice queen though?
Because you had to throw her into the freezer to warm her up. She was so cold. She
was miserable.
She was absolutely a horrible person, and it never came around, and it just was just a god awful situation. Our contractors were constantly yelling with her. My brother was doing some cement stuff for us. She called the cops on him twice because he was doing work on a Sunday. Like,
Didn't make her happy.
just everything. And it got to the point, and this part was crazy. It got to the point where she kept calling the cops on us so much over nonsense, like pure nonsense. Keep in mind, we took this house that was vacant, nasty, old grandma house. We, put a addition on the top. Like, we made this house awesome.
Yeah.
And she was just flaming pissed about it. But it got to the point that I actually had to go up to the police department and go, listen, guys, like, this is borderline harassment on us that she continues to disrupt our workflow every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And the cop looked at me and he's like, are you almost done with the project? I'm like, yeah. He's like, just move on with your life. And probably the right thing to do.
Yeah. But the worst part of that is when we finally sold it, we felt horrible for the buyer having to be her neighbor.
We talked about that at length.
Yeah.
At how
horrible. Like, what can you do though? Do you think she still lives there?
I don't know. I feel like she was like a part of the Grosse Pointe community, so I do think she still lives there. I do feel like I saw that house was listed for sale, the one that we sold.
I think I seen that too.
Yeah, at some point. Here's the thing that you have to remember is when you think you're having a bad day, just remember that somebody married that wicked, icy lady. So that guy, pray for him. He is having a rough life.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
poor guy.
Yeah. I think we tried talking with him, and he was, like, neutered.
Yeah, he just probably knew better. Keep his mouth shut.
Oh, my gosh. I felt so bad. So bad. And I get that there's a person for everybody. Like, definitely come across that in my life.
Yeah.
But felt horrible for the guy that bought our house. Felt horrible for her husband. Felt horrible for us. Like, we couldn't get out of that house fast enough. So that was the Ice Queen.
That was Ice Queen.
And so, next house.
Devonshire Dickhead.
The Devonshire Dickhead. This guy, he was, I don't know how to describe it. So this was in Pleasant Ridge. Pleasant Ridge is a good, like, upper middle class area.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Very nice. Higher dollar, for our area. I mean, I think we sold that house for like $575.
Yeah,
somewhere in that area.
It was a beautiful house.
It was great. So, but this guy, he was just kind of a dickhead for like no real reason.
Yeah, I think the one thing that he was super upset about was that the project took us longer than it should have. So he had to stare at a dumpster for an entire summer.
He was pissed about that, which
I can't blame him. I don't want to look at a dumpster for 6 months.
Yeah. Well, part of the issue is he kept calling. I think he called the city on us and got us shut down.
Yep.
And then, so it's kind of funny. He's like, "Hey, I want you out of here. Also, I'm going to shut you down."
Make it take longer.
So, like, make up your mind.
We also went through like contractor issues at that house. We started the project with one contractor. I think we went through 3 different contractors.
We did.
So that's another reason why it took so long. So
So it's always like super unfortunate when you're like you got a rough neighbor and then you're having contractor issues. You're like,
Yeah.
oh god, that's brutal.
That was a one-way street too, so the parking was always an issue. You know, the driveways are super narrow, so there's not a lot of room in the driveways to put a dumpster or park for our contractors. And then so there we have guys parking from his house. Now he's mad because he has nowhere to park, and it was always a thing. So
Yeah,
not
that
the
one.
worst one, but
No, definitely not the worst one. But Nicole and I were sitting here thinking the other day, like, okay, what are some of the rough neighbors? And these are the ones that just kind of stand out.
yeah,
Um, you definitely, to be very fair, I have been shocked at actually the neighbors have basically been wonderful for the
mm-hmm.
most part. I thought we'd be a disruptive force, and they're looking at us like, "Oh, thank you so much for coming in and like fixing this house and all that type of stuff." So it's been really good. But these four people, they kind of stand out. Who's the next lady?
Landscape lunatic. Also back from my beginning days.
You're starting to catch on. This is these people are probably psycho because they weren't dealing with Nicole yet. They were dealing with me, and maybe I maybe I make that happen out of people.
Oh my gosh. I think so. It was Monica in Clinton Township.
In Clinton Township, yep.
So the house is here, the neighbor's here.
It's right next to each other, and there was a bunch of like landscaping in between the yards, and the yards in the front, you know, they were like a little bit of a larger front yard,
Yeah.
not a crazy large yard, but you know, a little bit of a larger yard, maybe like a double lot, like
Yeah.
if you're from the Midwest, double lot, and there was trees like evergreen trees in between our houses that went basically from the front in between our house up to the front part of the street.
Sure, yeah.
So there's maybe like 6 or 8 of those types of trees. And then in between the trees, and those were like fully developed. Then in between the trees were these little like shrubs. And the shrubs, I'm telling you, if you snapped your fingers, like the heat generated from the snap would instantly ignite all of these shrubs on fire. They were as dead can be. They were like that fiery red color of the dead, like past brown, just super dry. So what do we do? We're like, okay, we need to remove these because these look horrible. So do you remember what happened on, we went over next door.
And asked her permission, and she was like, "Yes, please do that. It's going to be so much better. I wanted those gone for so long. Please take care of them." So we do.
So we do.
We pay for it.
We pay for it. We get rid of them. We go to put some new stuff in, and then what happens with the landscape lunatic? Do you remember?
She freaked out and exploded on us because now it looks worse, and now she wants all the big trees ripped out too.
Yep, she said that her big trees are no longer usable how they currently are, and we have to pay to get all of them removed.
Yeah.
And then we had to pay to get brand new trees replanted.
So she could have her privacy.
Yes. Keep in mind, all the big trees were perfectly fine. And keep in mind, everything that we removed was completely as dead can be. And we were replacing them with like shrubs, but just not dead ones.
Yeah.
So we had conversations, and one of the things that came from that is that we kind of realized after talking with the husband, we're trying to be good neighbors. We're trying to do the right thing, trying to have the right conversations, trying to make them happy. But you're not going to pay to rip out trees and install trees and do all that stuff. Like, that's just crazy. So sometimes the best thing to do is just kind of let sleeping dogs lie. And as the project continued, we just kind of like let it lie, let it lie, let it lie. And then we talked with the husband of the lady, and he kind of admitted to us that she, like, for simplicity, let's just say she was kind of off her meds, and she was dealing with some stuff. So it sounds as though, that erratic behavior was kind of normal in his life.
Yeah.
So
it was like hot, cold, hot, cold.
Yeah. And so he basically let us know. But at no point was he ever like, yeah, you guys are off the hook. he didn't really let us off the hook. At some point, it just kind of died down, and then we sold the house, and then we just went away.
We didn't take care of it.
We didn't cut down all the trees and plant new ones. It would have been like
thousands of dollars.
Many thousands of dollars, probably $10,000 plus, because they're all like big evergreens. Like, she was nuts in that regard.
Yeah.
So that was the landscape lunatic.
In the future, we will get that in writing because she granted us permission.
Oh my gosh.
To do it. We didn't have it in writing, and then she went back on her word and made us look like we did something wrong. So that won't happen again.
No, that part is very true. The last one is definitely.
This is a good one. This is a heartbreaking one.
This one is up there with the Ice Queen.
Yeah.
What are we calling her?
Hickory HOA Psycho.
This lady was a psychopath. Like, to a level unseen before. Her and Ice Queen would probably be best friends.
Yeah, but there is one difference. Ice Queen made our lives hell throughout the project. The HOA lady didn't make our life hell until we turned the house into an Airbnb. Never heard a peep from her through the whole project, which took almost a year.
Yep.
It was a big one.
Yep. And so let's set it up. So this house was probably like an hour north of us. It's on a lake. So the house on a lake, we're like, okay, this could be a perfect Airbnb. So we update the house, we launch the house, we furnish the house, and it's great.
It's the most beautiful house.
Everybody
loved it.
It's such a glorious house. So we have this. We're doing it as an Airbnb. The very first people that we had in this house as an Airbnb are these people that were an insurance claim, and their house was out of commission, and I think they needed our house for 6 weeks. And we've had this happen once before. And if you can get an insurance claim to stay at your Airbnb, it's wonderful. They pay full price, 100% occupancy for 6 weeks. Fantastic.
Especially when you're just starting out.
You can't ask for anything better. It turns out you actually can. You don't want 6 weeks of the people that we had staying at our house, unfortunately.
No, when they left, they destroyed. Like, we literally just finished the house. It was beautiful. The walls were filthy. The trim was filthy. Things were broken left and right.
It smelled like dog pee in the garage.
Yeah. It's like, oh my god.
Oh, it was so bad. So what happened was, a part of having a house on a lake is that sound travels, and these people were loud and boisterous, and apparently they just made a lot of noise, which is what signaled to our neighbors that this is what was going on. Mm-hmm. So, but here's the thing, again, about ask permission. We actually went to the homeowners association, because this house was in a homeowners association, said we're going to run this house as an Airbnb. And the bylaws were created, the last time they were updated were in the 80s, like 84. So they don't have any Airbnb language in there. So the HOA people are like, yes, that's fine. You guys can run it as a test for a couple of years, and let's see how it goes and what happens. So we're like, okay, let's try that. So the very first people, 6 weeks of just loud and obnoxious, couldn't get them out of there.
Not a great start.
So then we have, at one point, we get a picture from somebody. There's like 40 tents in our backyard. We're like, what in the actual F is going on? How do you get 40 people camping in the backyard? And the neighbors are calling us and all that type of stuff. Then one time at New Year's, you remember what happened there?
There's some sort of medical emergency. So the ambulance came in the middle of the night.
Yep.
Woke the entire neighborhood up.
So we continue to have all of these random things. And now as we got deeper into the short-term rental business, we kind of know how to deal with that better. In the short-term rental business, we do a really good job of getting to know who are our neighbors. So we're on top of that.
Yeah.
Because you really, you just need to be a good neighbor while you're occupying these houses, because they live there and we're kind of occupying the place. So now, the stage is set. Okay. So it sounds bad, right? But all this stuff is spread out over time. So stuff happens. We get stuff figured out. This was, I think, our second Airbnb, right?
Yeah.
And it's starting to perform really well.
I think it was like our top performing Airbnb.
Yep.
The house was perfectly laid out for it. It was wonderful. We all loved it. We were so proud of it. Guests loved it. We got great reviews. Everything was 5 star.
So then what started happening is this lady, this Karen, she got to the point where she, like, nobody liked her. Nobody liked her in this homeowners association because she was just, one of those shit starters, right? That's just what she was. Always, like, causing problems for everybody. So you're not going to believe what I'm getting ready to tell you. It's unbelievable. If I didn't live this, I wouldn't believe it either. This lady paid a lawyer, figured out a technicality, got the HOA disbanded, and rebuilt in her name as the HOA president. And guess what she did?
For the sole purpose of ruining our lives.
So she has a coup of the old HOA, gets everything disbanded, and then now she makes the new homeowners association, instead of 44 houses, she shrunk it down to 11. And our house was number one on, we're like number one in the parcel, and hers was like number 11. And so she disbands and makes it illegal to do Airbnbs.
Yep.
So she called Airbnb on us. She called.
Oh yeah, she reported us to Airbnb. She called the cops. She called the city.
She was calling everybody humanly possible. We're like, listen, we have done this the right way, and like we're doing all this, but who in the hell is crazy enough to spend their own money to hire a lawyer to get an HOA disbanded and then rebanded and put back?
To prove a point. Like all of that just to prove a point.
I guess, man.
I mean, I know it was a rough start and we had bad guests in the beginning and stuff, but as we kind of mentioned, like we learned throughout the process on how to diffuse parties and how to eliminate that noise. We put cameras up on the property so we could get in front of it if there was an issue, but it was too late.
By the time we were done with it, we eventually sold the property because it just wasn't worth it. She made it very clear that she was going to ruin our guests' vacations.
And she did.
And she would. So we made the decision. There was really two decisions. One, do we continue to battle, like a legal battle, and try to get the HOA completely disbanded? Now, keep in mind, when she disbanded the HOA, now that took away, there's two giant, like, two lakes in this, like, HOA. So now it essentially disbanded for the other lake. The money for the HOA goes towards lake maintenance, to making sure that everything is clean and all that stuff. So she completely destroyed that. There were like 4 or 5 other properties in this small neighborhood that were all in violation of HOA rules. There was people that had boats and illegal barns and all sorts of stuff. But she was just focused on like ruining us, which, as Nicole and I were talking the other day, we're like, makes total sense when we thought it was the house directly across the lake from us.
She wasn't even near us, really.
She was all the way at the other end of the lake, all the way in the corner. And she found out about it, and then that was it.
That was it.
That was it. So we tried talking with her. My partner Todd, he'd go over there and talk with her, and he's really good at those types of like mediation type settings where you're just trying to like calm things down, and he's really world class at that type of stuff. And she was a psycho.
She would not budge. She was determined, and she won.
Yeah. So well done. She won. We sold the house, we got out of there, moved on with our life. But it was really freaking frustrating because, it was a larger house. People loved it. We had tons of furniture. So now you got to you buy all the furniture. Now you got to move all the furniture. You got to take it somewhere else. And just wound up being crazy. But, again, I think, one of the things that Nico and I are going to talk about is like some learnings that we've had from these bad neighbors to be able to share that with you so you can try to avoid them. What do we have on the list?
Um, First one is people are crazy. Play nice.
They are, man.
Be patient, play nice. Try to make the most of it. And that kind of leads into another thing is like we're temporary neighbors. Well, unless you're an Airbnb, but
Yeah,
generally you're a temporary neighbor, so you're kind of disrupting their life. And try to be as pleasant as you can with them.
yeah, I think that's an important point too. It's like, okay, if you're doing a flip, you're coming in here, you're disruptive, for, you know, 3 to 6 months, you're this is where they live. This is where they feel safe and secure. And we're coming in here and we're probably being loud and making lots of noise. So, like, go out, say hi, be nice to them, and introduce yourself. Maybe even get their phone number and let them know if you have any issues, just call me and then we can deal with it. You don't have to call the cops. You don't have to go crazy. And then just have a conversation like normal human beings and people.
Yeah, most of the time that works, trying to just talk to them and be friendly. I mean, out of the almost 300 houses, we only have a handful of really bad neighbors, so
Yeah.
it's not too bad, but it does happen.
2 were super crazy, and then the other 2 were okay-ish.
I'm sure there's more that we're not thinking of, but
Oh, there definitely is, but those are the ones that stand out. What was the third thing that we had on the list?
um,
Oh, yeah, it was basically like, um, just because you're friendly, like, doesn't mean you're gonna get the result you want.
yeah, but it could diffuse the situation a little bit.
And so again, just pretend like you're living in this house, and you got all this disruption happening next door. You might be mad. Your spouse might be getting frustrated and want you to go and deal with it. And there's a lot of people that don't know how to have face-to-face conversations. They really don't.
Yeah.
So they use what's at their disposal, which is call the city, call the cops, call whatever. But if you see them, like we're in the east side of Detroit, almost everybody. Like if I see them, I'm waving at them, I'm talking to them, just letting them know we're in the area. And so
We made a lot of friends doing that too.
So anyhow, so that's our bad neighbor podcast. So hopefully, some of this pain that we dealt with, super real and very painful.
It is. It feels like the end of the world when you're in it. It's like this is already a challenging business, and you're making my life even harder. Thank you.
Yeah. And so that is well said. Very challenging business, and these people can make it tremendously difficult. So if you have one of those people in your lives right now, just when you are walking through hell, just keep walking. Do not stop.
Keep smiling.
Just keep going. Get done with the project as fast as possible and keep moving on.
Yeah.
That is all we have for you today. We will see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.